appreciate that. Not only is she my cousin, she was a former student of mine, a dear friend to my children, but also a person I've grown from just simply loving to admiring and respecting. Just a few minutes ago, I shared one Yiddish word, yichus, in describing Dan and Jody. It means stock or background. It helped define them by reflecting on their lineage, their amazing sets of parents. Again, mazel tov to Dan and Jody. I'd like to share another Yiddish word to help define Hilary. The word is zis. It technically means sweet, but she is so much more. Hilary was the youngest member of the Holocaust Education Resource Center's Speaker Bureau during her 7th grade class. Say it one more time. Hilary was the youngest member of the Holocaust Education Resource Center's Speakers Bureau. Starting in the 7th grade, since she had written a published book that was sold at a Yom HaShoah ceremony about 2 survivors and their 2 children. That book is now in the Pedagogic Center of Yad Vashem. She is a 4.0 honor student at UW-Madison with a double major in history and political science and a minor in Jewish studies. Hilary was the Hasbara Campus Fellow at UW-Madison. She's one of the founders of Students Alliance for Israel at Madison. She also developed and wrote a 6-week curriculum on Israel education and advocacy. Hilary is teaching a 5-class course on the history of American Jews and their relationship to Israel. She is the first Jewish National Fund Fellow at UW-Madison, where she is driven to collect money around campus to plant trees in the Negev. I'm talking about just one person here. And she's only Some of you may have read an article that she wrote in the Jewish Chronicle. For those of you who didn't, I want to just give you a short synopsis of what it was all about. It was about her favorite day of the week. Favorite day of the week isn't Friday, it isn't Saturday, it is not Shabbat, it's Thursday. But check out why. It's her favorite day of the week because she loves the preparation and the intent that goes into Thursday for what comes on Friday and Saturday. She's such a cool mind and what a heart. That she doesn't look at the obvious that she loves Shabbat. She looks at the obvious or the not so obvious, the preparation and the work and the effort that goes into preparing for it. That's Hilary. I think it's unbelievable that tonight happens to be Thursday night. One more reason, to add another reason why you love Thursdays. Hilary, you are a zis, you are a sweetheart. You are a kind, loving, gentle, funny, smart, and clever young woman. We at MJDS are proud to call you an alum for all those reasons and for so much more. Your love for our Israel, our people, and our world makes me sleep better at night. I can't wait to see the worlds are ahead of you, and I can't wait to be a partner on whatever path you take. Hilary, I love you, and I'm incredibly honored to present you with your award. Couldn't agree more. She is more than a young leader. She is already a rock star.
I'm not really a crier, but it just happens when it happens. Also, I'm shorter than most people. Before I thank Moshe, I would just like to thank Mr. Zetley. Thank you so much for your kind words. And just a bit of background, I had the honor of doing cross country for 4 years with Aaron, Mr. and Dr. Zetley's son. And so I could hear Mr. Zetley at any point in the race, no matter where we were. He was the most boisterous Nicolay cross-country fan, so if ever you want someone to come to your child's sporting event, Mr. Zetley is your guy. Moshe, where are you? Oh, there you are. It is an honor to be introduced by someone who has dedicated their life to this community. You've demonstrated this commitment not only through your leadership, but also by being an extraordinary educator. Yes, Adon Katz. In 8th grade, I was privileged to have taken your Israeli studies course. Whether we were in the classroom or at the kotel, your passion for teaching inspired my graduating class to consider the true value of our Judaism. And by my side throughout Moshe's class and every class at MJDS was Eliana Sinekin. Tonight, her incredibly charismatic and loving parents are being honored. Mr. and Mrs. Sinekin, I would refer to you as Dan and Jody, but my parents are in the crowd. Thank you for all that you have done to preserve Jewish life in our community. From Shabbat dinners to Sukkot and Hanukkah parties, thank you for raising me, and also for inspiring me to love being Jewish. Last semester, I took a class called Politics and Multicultural Society. My professor began the first lecture by posing 2 essential questions. The first, what is the core of your identity? And the second, is your identity ascribed or asserted? Ascribed meaning that one is born into their ethnic or national identity, and asserted meaning that one chooses their identity based on free will. After he posed the first questions, my classmates looked confused and a bit unsettled. They seemed as though the professor was trying to trick us, as if there was some ulterior motive. However, for me, answering the first question took no time at all. Judaism, I thought. That is the core of my identity. It always has been. But unlike the first question, the second was much more thought-provoking and much more challenging. It lingered in my head when the bell rang. Is your identity ascribed or asserted? This question forced me to reflect on why Judaism is so essential to my being. I concluded that in understanding my individual identity, this question cannot be an either-or question. It is much more complex and much more intricate than that. And so tonight, I want to share with you my answer. I acknowledge that I am ascribed to Judaism. I was born and raised in a family where its teachings and values were emulated by weekly Shabbat dinners, Nana's multiple soup, Mom's mandel bread, and of course, JCC men's basketball. And yet, in spite of my upbringing, I feel as if my Judaism is so much deeper than my ascription to it. As a 19-year-old surrounded by distractions and secular tendencies, why is it that I choose to go to Shabbat every Friday evening at school? Why do I choose to advocate for my Jewish homeland when it is so easy to submit to anti-Israel sentiment on my college campus? Why do I choose to put a mezuzah on the doorpost of my apartment? Why do I text Mazel Tov and not congratulations? Why do I consider my Jewish studies homework my fun homework? And why do I choose to wear the Shema around my neck every day? And after much thought, I realized that the answer is incredibly simple. I choose to assert my Judaism because of the unwavering pride and joy it gives me. And the fundamental source of my love for all things Jewish is the Milwaukee Jewish Day School. For 10 years, I entered a school building in which community, tolerance, and love of learning was pervasive. I interacted with teachers who motivated me to work hard and to be a leader inside and outside of the classroom. I was surrounded by peers who showed me the true meaning of friendship and teamwork. At MJDS, I was influenced by the Jewish values and morals that were ubiquitous in every class, every hafsakah, every tefillah, every folk fair, every Rockets basketball game, every Shabbat sing, and every mitzvah day. I want to sincerely thank every individual in this room tonight. I am so thankful and blessed to be a part of a community that cares so deeply for the continuity of Jewish life, not just in Milwaukee, but around the world. Given that I'm receiving the Next Generation Award, I hope to play a role in inspiring future Jewish leadership like each of you have inspired me. And finally, I want to thank MJDS. Thank you to everyone for 10 remarkable years who allowed me to realize that my Judaism extends far beyond my ascription to it. Thank you for inspiring every past, present, and future student to assert their Jewish identity, no matter where they are, who they are with, and what they are doing. And one of those past students happens to be my wonderful sister Erin, who is now living in the South, in Louisville, Kentucky, and she's working for the Jewish Heritage Fund for Excellence in Louisville. But before I conclude, I want to share a quote by Henry Monsky, an American Jewish icon and former president of B'nai B'rith. To me, this quote encapsulates the mission of the Milwaukee Jewish Day School entirely. It reads, "Judaism is something so much more than philanthropy and social service. It is a civilization, many-faceted, rich and profound in its diversity. Down through the centuries of our history and throughout our literature, in the Talmud, in the Midrash, and in other great Jewish classics, we find emphasis on Jewish education as a vital, life-giving force and as a primary philosophy of Jewish life. I'm humbled to receive this recognition and feel a deep obligation to ensure that my generation and the ones that follow are committed to realizing the values in a strong Jewish identity, ascripted and asserted." Thank you.